This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Kory Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome to episode number 2 of the ORU Basketball Coaches Show. Connor Clark here with you on the ORU Sports Network, and we are live from Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale. Come on by, see us live here as we are hanging out for the next hour, and come get yourself some pretty good lunch as well. We got all sorts of styles of chicken. They got tenders, they got tacos, they got loaded mac and cheese, which I highly recommend. That is my favorite. Great sauces, as you mentioned, too, a wide variety. So come check us out. 71st and Yale here at Waldo's Chicken. And Connor Clark, joined by the head men's basketball coach, Kory Barnett, here for episode 2 to kick things off. Coach, as always, thanks so much for joining us here for a half hour to talk some ball. It's always a good time. And you guys finally have some games under your belt that we get to talk about as well, and it's finally starting to feel like a little bit of basketball season outside with the chilliness too. So nice. we are bundled up in here, and we're ready to rock. But Coach, it's 2 games under your belt: one against Oklahoma State, one against John Brown, and we'll start with the opener at Oklahoma State. A first half that we saw a lot from your guys, and maybe a little bit of a nervous start, for lack of a better term, but who isn't in the opening game of the year with a brand new group? But the offense really came together, especially late in that first half. And I was honestly impressed with a couple of names, one being Jack Turner. That sticks out to me. Yes. I thought he played really well, and I know we talked about him briefly after the game, but he just seems really comfortable out there running the offense, and was a big part of why you guys were able to have success.
Yeah, I mean, he's been on the biggest show for the majority of his career. He went to a really good high school in California, won a state championship there, and was with a bunch of guys who have gone on to a very high level, even NBA players. So he's done an incredible job of adjusting here and just being a little bit of both. Point guard combo, scores it, moves it. I've been impressed with the way that he's adapted, especially after pretty much taking a year off last year, and now he's getting in the fold and he got in rhythm quickly, thankfully.
Yeah, you only played 11 games last year with Loyola Chicago, and now coming in as a starting role. I mean, that's a pretty big jump for one player to take. And you mentioned his high school background, too, at St. John Bosco. If you're not aware, that's one of the better high school programs in America.
No doubt.
And he was a pretty big catalyst offensively for them. Ty Harper also had a really nice game at OSU, had 18 points, had 6 rebounds as well, which I think we kind of overshadowed a little bit too. So he was doing a little bit of everything offensively and kind of gave you guys a spark as well.
He did, yeah. I mean, he's been wired to score his whole career. That's what he does really, really well. I think one area that he knows and that we all know we need to improve in is our finishing at the rim, and it put us in a position where that game got away from us. If we had finished, I think we could have been up 6-10 points at half if we had just made layups, and we had a similar issue this last game. So it's something that's going to be a focal point for us moving forward, especially into a big week with 2 really, really good opponents.
Yeah, the last game against John Brown, we saw Luke Gray break out for the first time this year, and I said to you after the game on Saturday, it was one of his better games in a Golden Eagle uniform, period, especially shooting the ball.
No doubt.
Hit 3 threes on 5 attempts as well, and he was really efficient from the field as well. I believe his only 2 misses came from 3, if memory serves, but it's nice to see him getting going offensively. I know you said that you were maybe a little bit disappointed with his performance at Oklahoma State, but he responded pretty nicely.
Yeah, disappointed is probably a decent word for it. It's just me. I want him playing with joy. I want him having fun. Like, that's who he is. I want him being himself on the court. I think he just needed to get back in that rhythm and understand how much of an opportunity and joy it is to play this game, especially with his brothers. And I thought he really let loose. I think even that first stretch he had, he was still a little bit in that mold, and then he really reset in the timeout, did a good job adjusting, and obviously had a great second half. So I'm incredibly proud of his mental approach.
Yeah, he kind of flips that switch on game day, and it's not a bad thing, of course, but he gets, I feel like from an outsider's perspective, just super laser focused.
Yes.
And maybe he can get lost in that a little bit.
Doubt.
And you mentioned playing with joy too, and does that kind of translate into playing looser, would you say, coming from your experience as a player too?
100%. Yeah, that's why we really focus on the word passion. That's what we all constantly talk about, because passion can look like a lot of different things. If you just say play with joy, that could be whatever, lackadaisical. But for us, it's like we need passion, and whether that's a high level amount of focus, whether it's having a smile on your face, but it's being fully involved in the game, being present, being with your guys on the court consistently. So.
Yeah, well, a couple of games under your belt, currently 1-1. Obviously, the 84-50 win over John Brown. And you said the message at halftime of that game was as simple as wake up. And
Yeah.
again, I didn't really feel like you guys were necessarily asleep in that first half, but again, you want to go into the locker room essentially with a bigger lead than what you had, but you guys really, to your point, woke up in that second half.
Yeah, really, it's all about our edge, and I didn't think we had enough of our edge and our urgency and our passion and how hard we play. We were fine in the first half, but that was my fear, is that we would come out and see an NAI opponent and just think we can kind of go through the motions. And they're a very good team. I mean, there's a reason they'd scored 100, averaged 100 points in their first 3 games and shot the way they did. Like, if you let them get comfortable, all of a sudden it's a game and a half, right? Where I thought with the talent that we have, we should have put it away a lot earlier, but our guys adjusted. That credit to them in the second half. And the biggest adjustment they made was their urgency and their edge in the defensive end. I thought offensively both halves were pretty equal, but the defensive end, we turn up the heat, and they did a really good job of getting stops consistently and stringing them together.
What's something that you noticed on the defensive end too? Because you held a team that is averaging 100 points a game at 17 in that second half. And what changes did you guys make at that end of the floor?
Ball pressure. Our ball pressure needed to turn up a lot. I thought we did an okay job in the first half, but we did it without discipline. We reached a lot. We gave them ticky-tack calls. I mean, I think they shot dang near 20 free throws in the first half, and a lot of it was it wasn't bad officiating whatsoever. It was completely on us. It was just undisciplined play, grabbing jerseys and not catching the first move with our chest. And so guys did a really good job in the second half of adjusting to that, and then having a lot more urgency to their closeouts and taking away that 3-point line.
Yeah,
so
the proof is in the pudding, especially free throw wise too. They shot 13 of them in the first half, only 4 of them in the second half. So I guess the numbers back up your claims. So you're doing well right now. As for you guys shot the free throw really, really well as well. 7 of 8 in the first half, 10 of 12 in the second. So you got to the line a little bit more in that area, and you shot the ball better overall. In that second half as well, kind of almost a 6% increase there, shooting 14 of 32. And coming off of a second half at Oklahoma State, too, where you guys only made 6 field goals, what was it like seeing your offense start to click more so as the game went on rather than starting fast?
Yeah, I thought the guys did a good job settling in. Like I kind of told them, they have kind of a more soft cushion defensive approach, like make them, it's kind of like in tennis. You kind of just keep hitting it back over the net and wait for the other team to make a mistake. That's their defensive approach. And I thought we settled because of that. We didn't have a body on us a lot. They were going under screens. They were switching with comfort. And so we were taking good shots, but we didn't hunt great shots. And they were good shots in the first 6-7 seconds of a possession. We can work a lot harder to get a great shot. And once we settled in second half, when we did that, now guys get rolling, they get in their rhythm, and now those good shots that they were taking the first half become great ones because they're actually in rhythm. They've seen it go in. The ball's moved side to side. It's touched the paint. And we talk about paint degrade a lot, and that they adjusted well in half number 2.
So now we kind of turn up the heat here this week, opponent-wise, with the Mayor's Cup on Wednesday, with Tulsa coming off of a really nice win over Rhode Island on Friday, and then Belmont on Saturday for homecoming. But we'll start with the in-town rival Tulsa. They bring in a bunch of new faces, as a lot of people have this year, but through 2 games, they're having 5 guys average double figures, and 2 of those guys come off the bench. What's your kind of overall view from you kind of 30,000 feet view from your guys' scouting perspective on Tulsa?
Yeah, to be honest with you, they look a lot like us in terms of what they're emphasizing on the offensive end. They've done an unbelievable job on the glass, crashing offensively and getting them extra possessions. And so that'll be an all-out war, who can win the possession battle. And we've obviously been emphasizing similar things. And their flow in the half court and in transition is really hard to guard. They got some dudes. Obviously, Barnstable, this league knows well from the Summit League, transferring over from St. Thomas, and he's had a great start. But across the board, they have really 1 through 4, especially some high-level scoring threats that can all go for double figures and put you in a tough spot if you don't guard them the right way. So we haven't dove into it with our team yet. Yesterday was off, but today at 3, we'll really dive into some of the details and get them rolling.
Yeah, something that I'm curious about too, just overall schedule-wise, it's the Wednesday-Saturday split, and it's going to turn into that Thursday-Saturday split as conference play comes. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But how do you go about managing the load that you put on your guys when it comes to practices and games? Because you played a couple of pretty fast-paced games last week, and I know you guys want to play fast, and you've conditioned your players to do that as well. But how important is that recovery when you have a couple of games and not a lot of time?
Yeah, everything. But to be honest with you, everything we talk about is today. And so yesterday was about yesterday, and it was 100% recovery, and it was about our off day and how elite that off day is, and what our focus was during that time. I didn't want them getting in the gym and taking thousands of shots. It was about resting your body, and the guys who needed it, that didn't play, whether they be red shirts or low minute guys, they got what they needed. And now it's Monday. It's back at it. We try and go 70 today and 60 tomorrow, day before the game, and I think the majority of guys have done a really good job at taking it one day at a time and then preparing for those games in the best way that they possibly can.
I was going to mention Barnstable too, and you can't really be like, hey, there's familiarity there because obviously your staff wasn't in the league last year to see him.
No doubt.
And now he's playing an ORU team that's only bringing back one guy who actually played last year, and
Right.
Luke. So it's going to be, familiarity yet also not familiarity at the same time. What sticks out to you about his game? Because obviously a dude who can fill it up and has started off pretty well in his career at Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a great job. He can really shoot the basketball, and he plays with a ton of confidence. I mean, he reminds me of some of the best guys I've gone against, and coached. Like, he's pretty similar to Bryce Alford from at UCLA that we coached, and he's just a high level shooter who comes off screens. And whether you're there or not, he just gets in his rhythm, and if he can turn and get it off, it's going to go up. Which can be good and bad at times. Like, hopefully we can force him into some tough ones and tough, difficult ones, but he's going to be a really hard cover for our guys just because of how confident he is and how he just gets to his spot and he's turning, he's letting that thing fly. So it needs to be an urgent high level contest, but I don't want to send him to the free throw line whatsoever.
And just kind of an early on big picture for Tulsa. I mean, they got, again, the 5 guys averaging double figures. David Green leading the team with 14.5. Tylen Riley at 14. We mentioned Barnstable at 13.5. And then the 2 guys who come off the bench, Ramad Dean averaging 11, and then Jalen Lawler averaging 10 as well. And it's a Tulsa team that shot it really well against Rhode Island. And you kind of question if the rate that they shot it at, both from the field and from 3, is necessarily sustainable moving forward.
No doubt.
But they were 50+% in both areas.
Yeah, and I thought Rhode Island did a decent job. I mean, they were a hard-hedged team that came up, put 2 on the ball consistently, and Tulsa read it and adjusted well and got into a lot of more middle ball screen stuff, moved the ball, and they made really good reads and good shots. And I thought they got in a really comfortable rhythm. So we had to do a decent job with our preparation of figuring out ways to make a lot of these guys play left-handed and be physical with them. And the one biggest key is taking away any easy ones.
Now, when you face an opponent that wants to play fast, and you obviously saw one at Oklahoma State. I mean, they were, down on the other end of the floor before you could even blink.
No doubt.
And you guys also want to play fast. When you go and look at another team and scout another team that has a similar play style as you guys, what kind of variety do you see offensively? Is it all kind of morphed into a single thing, or is it something different each and every single time?
For you, in terms of their offense or ours?
In terms of their offense, comparison to yours.
Yeah, I mean, they're a team that obviously wants to play fast, but they also play in a little bit of flow where they're not going to come down and call a set every single time. They're going to kind of read and react off each other. So that means that our discipline defensively has to be really, really connected and intact, because they're not going to come down and just run a set that we can easily just take away by, hey, this is the action that they're in, do this, do that, and now it's all canceled. It's going to be a lot of our defensive principles. We're going to follow the level of our training, and that's what we take pride in, is making sure when we're in those practices that we every rep is an important rep, and our guys need to do a good job of having a lot of carryover for what we do as we've laid the foundation through the offseason.
Well, this is episode 2 of the ORU Basketball Coach Show. We're here at Waldo's Chicken at 71st and Yale. Come out and join us. We're here until 1:30 talking basketball with Coach Barnett and Coach Anderson coming up at 1 o'clock. So as we dive further into this Tulsa team, they average 46.5 rebounds a game. We know the boards are going to be absolutely critical, not just on Wednesday night, but throughout the season. And
no doubt,
you guys, I thought, did pretty well, especially in that first half on the offensive glass. How critical is that going to be in Wednesday night's game?
Massive. I mean, we're a team that really wants to try and maximize possessions in every single way we can, and getting on the offensive glass is a huge key for us. And our guards do a really good job, and our bigs are continuing to grow in that area. And obviously, rebounding on both ends is going to be massive for both these games, but especially the one we're locked in on Wednesday.
Yeah, rebounding and, of course, keeping up with that pace of play, which you guys have shown that you could do at a pretty high level. Now, switching over to your team, because I know the message is, it's about you guys and nobody else. And, of course, you want to focus on the opponent, but you also want to focus more so on what you guys do so successfully. And a guy I do want to dive into is Connor Dow. Now, he only took 6 shots against John Brown, and he really only needed to take 6 shots. Not like you guys needed him to explode offensively. But what does that look like going forward to get him involved a ton? Because we know his ability to shoot the ball. I mean, we've both seen it in practice, and I know Oklahoma State got a little bit of a glimpse of it while he was there as well. And an elite scorer. Is there something that, he can do more to get involved in this offense, or is it just, hey, we're going to call your number when we call your number?
No, I think for him, he just got to hunt more opportunities, and it's specific opportunities, and we're going to kind of help him utilize his gravity to the highest mark. And it's not even only like, I don't necessarily just look at his shot attempts. But I look at how he creates offense, and I just didn't think we did a good enough job. Personally, I didn't do a good enough job getting him in spots where he was harder to guard, especially in that first half. So that's going to be something that we're going to need to focus on moving forward, because he has an incredible amount of gravity. I thought Oklahoma State built a lot of their game plan about trying to limit him as much as possible, and we got to really hunt great shots for him consistently for us to be an elite offensive team.
And another guy who I thought played pretty well is Cal Furnish, and obviously you guys are going to need him a lot more moving forward. And he got his first collegiate points, and again, just a true freshman, and he just seems so comfortable out on the floor. Even at Oklahoma State, he subbed in late in the game, and he just seemed like he'd been playing college ball for 3-4 years.
No doubt. I'd kind of looked over at the bench and said, guys, we're second half now, and is Cal ready for this moment? And every single staff member and myself agreed he was ready for it, and he stepped in with a ton of confidence, and I thought he played really well. And obviously he needs these experiences as much as possible early on, but with Lane being done for the year, he'll be a massive key to us moving forward. We need that guard depth, and honestly, like he's somebody who comes in, he's really hunting, getting other guys shots. So there's gonna be times where our offense is gonna get a little bit one-sided, and so we need him to come in and run it and get it to multiple sides. And he does a really good job of taking the right shots at the right time, but also creating for others and seeing the floor in a really, really high level way.
And Cal, I feel like he can be, kind of one of those pesky guards
No
that
doubt.
maybe a little bit undersized, but when it comes to conference play, just a dude who doesn't necessarily make the plays that show up on the box score, but make the plays that help you win down the stretch, whether it's a loose ball or, a rebound or a nice pass that leads to an assist. The list goes on. Another guy who I think is going to step up in a big way now that, Sparks is obviously gone for the year with his torn ACL, unfortunately, and that was a tough one to see go down, considering the way he was playing in that OSU game and obviously his journey to this point. But the name that comes to mind is Chase Martin, because he's no longer redshirted. Obviously, he brings good size, had a lot of success playing at Wofford over his 2 years there. And it seems like that role kind of opens up for him in a bigger capacity now.
No doubt. And happy birthday to Chase. Today's his birthday, so we call him Connector Martin because he connects our offense a lot of the times. But he's unbelievably tough, physical, does everything that we ask him, really, really disciplined. On the offensive end, I think he can unlock a lot of the things that we're trying to hunt, just with the way that he's able to screen and find pockets and move the ball and make sure that everybody gets involved. He's one of our best screeners. And so I think he's going to step into a bigger role with Sparky out. And I think I'm very confident that he's ready for that.
So Connector Martin, that sounds like a military name.
It does, doesn't it?
I mean, so in what ways does he connect your offense to deem the nickname?
A lot of our offense is based on flow, and we have what we call connectors, and there's always two on the court. And a lot of those guys are hunting pockets, they're hunting screens, they're trying to constantly create advantages when we don't have an advantage. And so he does a really good job. He's one of our best at being able to get to that next section consistently, and he sees when there isn't an advantage, and he needs to come in and create a collision to where we put two in the ball, and now we get to the next action. And he's done a really good job of making reads out of those pockets or those pick and pops and driving closeouts and getting teams where they're in rotation consistently.
Now, I want to talk about the coaching staff because you guys finally have some real game action under your belt. Obviously, a lot different than coaching with each other behind closed doors in practice. What's it been like with this group through 2 games? And obviously, you've had success in a lot of areas, especially on offense. And we know what, obviously, Coach Alford can do with the clipboard as well. But what's that been like, kind of meshing with that group that you guys all came together in June, and now all of a sudden you blink and we're on game 3 already?
I mean, it's a blessing. I think I have one of the best staffs in the country, and I know a lot of people say that, but I really do believe it. I think we have a really good mix and guys who have different strengths and different weaknesses, and we really lean into our guys' strengths, and all of them can coach at a very high level. And we have 3 different guys doing scouts. Fan did the last scout for John Brown, and Donovan's got this one, and then Wood Saxon's got the weekend. So all 3 of those guys do a really good job in scouts. And then Kory and Isaac Green obviously are very leaned into our offense and making sure that we're maximizing that to the highest degree. And then we have an unbelievable crew of GAs that do a really good job and work like crazy and have different strengths, from analytics to operations to workouts in the court. And then I think the GOAT, Steve Upshaw, is one of the best staff members that we have. He's just been here for a long time. He knows the lay of the land. He's an unbelievable person. He's great with our guys. He keeps everybody on track. And then obviously Earl is the most energy you'll ever see at the end of the bench. And he does a really good job in the weight room with their guys, but also the recovery piece and making sure we're doing a good job in practice at load management. And then he always has a lot of really hot takes, and so he gets a lot of conversation going.
He loves the Houston Rockets.
He loves the Rockets and he loves the Bucks. He worked for both of them,
Yes,
so I get
that's
it.
true.
But he's a little bit. But my issue with Earl is he doesn't understand he's biased. Like, I know I'm biased. If you ask me about the Cubs right now, I'm going to tell you we're winning the World Series next year. And we're going to do a great job in the offseason. But I'm also going to tell you I'm very biased, right?
Yeah.
Earl is just going to tell you Sengun is the best player in the world. Look you right in the eyes. Believe it. And just have listened to no statistics whatsoever.
I think he got blinded by the amount of 6'11" guys on the Houston Rockets roster and just kind of took it from there. The debates that him and Connor and a bunch of other OKC guys on the roster are pretty entertaining to just sit back and listen to.
They love it. They poke the bear. They want to
do.
get him going, and he's pretty easy to get going. And I don't want to forget Tony. Tony does a great job in our training room and has done a really good job of helping our guys get on the court, stay on the court, and he's in there nonstop working like crazy. So,
well, if you ever follow Earl or Tony on Instagram, you obviously know that those two are just kind of like physical freaks.
They are.
I mean, I look at Earl's Instagram every other day. He's doing split squats with like 500 pounds on his back. And then I look at Tony's Instagram story last night. He ran, a casual 20 miles yesterday training for an Ironman thing.
Insane. Well, I will say both of them scored way above their league with their fiancés and wives. So they need to be in that gym consistently.
I think we can probably all say that across the board.
Yeah, fair.
So.
That's very fair.
Another guy, and you mentioned him briefly, is Isaac Green, and I want to know if this is an accurate comparison in your eyes, because I think he does a great job, and he's really, really involved. But when I look at him, and especially when he's coaching, I don't know why, but I think of Rudy.
Nice, Rudy.
Because he's vocal, he's super passionate. Obviously, he's really smart.
Yes.
And I don't know why I just get shades of Rudy.
Okay.
I'm not trying to call him like, hey, he's got to go to this stop because people don't think he's good enough to be here, obviously. Like, I'm leaving that part of the Rudy story out, but just kind of the personality, and I think it's a great person to have in your coaching room.
No, Ice is incredible, and he's a brilliant basketball mind. And I don't want to say offense because it's everything, and he loves culture, he loves team development. He's constantly bringing me different things. He brought me something new today that Pat Riley said that connects with one of our players that I'm going to show and film when I get back. But the dude's an unbelievably tireless worker. He's nonstop. Honestly, he's got to figure out a way to turn it off at some point. But he's a mini Eric Spoelstra. The guy, he knows he studies everything. He dives in deep. He's a very deep thinker, and he's an unbelievable communicator with our guys and does a really good job. So I'm very, very blessed to have him on the staff.
I think the mini Eric Spoelstra is probably a better comparison than the Rudy one. So don't tell him I said that.
Basketball and football. Yeah, I hope he's not listening.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see him later, probably at practice. So we'll have to take it up in person with him. But
Ice, it wasn't a short joke.
Right. Backhanded. I don't know. I'm not that tall either. But anyway, you mentioned culture, and he brings it to your staff, and he's not the only one who brings it. I think Van Green brings a ton of it as well. And
no doubt.
Over the summer, I mean, we were in practices a couple of times, and he's kind of the quote-unquote bad cop sometimes.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah,
yes.
he kind of gets on guys. I know him and Yudo kind of butt heads a little bit too, but it's not in a bad way. It's because he just wants them to improve. What's it like having a guy like that who's just really not afraid to tell it like it is to any of your guys at any point?
Well, we talk about it all the time as a staff. We're only going to be as good as we are invested in these guys. And I think Van does one of the best jobs on our staff at getting super invested in the guys. And what I mean by that is you have to have a lot of relational equity to speak to a place that actually gets guys to have good carryover when you coach them. And he coaches guys hard. And the only way he can do that is by spending the time, and he does. He's constantly with those guys. He built a really good relationship, and he tells them, like, here's what you told me you want. Here's the standard you want to be held to. And here's what Coach Barnett's told me I'm going to hold you to. And he does it on a daily basis, regardless of what that looks like. If it's day of a game, day before a game, 2 days before a game, in the middle of a game, he doesn't care. He's going to tell you how it is and keep it real and push you to you try and make you a 10 out of 10 as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, I think he does a great job of fulfilling that role for you guys as staff as well. And then obviously, I mean, we touched on Alford and what he can do, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I remember there was a practice over the summer where he drew up one of the craziest game-winning scrimmage plays where it ended in a lob to Luke. And I think the pass was just a little bit too high, but I mean, it was like perfection, poetry in motion from baseline to baseline. What's it like obviously working with him in that aspect, and of course, you guys are really good friends.
Yeah, he's a brilliant basketball mind, but offensively, he's so gifted. I mean, he'd obviously been a head coach for as long as he was. He's been in the lab. He's done a lot of things. He knows what works and what doesn't. And not only that, but he's played and he's been around players at a high level. So the way that he communicates it to guys, not only on the board, but talks them through screening angles and what it should look like. He does a really good job, makes it very descriptive and sticky to where they can go out and execute at a high level. And he's done it for many, many years. And I'm very, very thankful he's sitting next to me on that bench.
Yeah, he's been a great addition as well. And coming up on Wednesday, obviously the Tulsa game, Mayor's Cup. It is a whiteout. Not sure if you were aware of that.
I was not. Hey, let's white it out.
Well, we're going to do a whiteout here at the Maybe. And will the coaching staff be participating in said whiteout or no? Am I putting pressure on you?
No, I should go with like the Rick Pitino,
the all white,
all white penny stripes.
It's funny. I told Coach Annan on the women's staff he's got to get an all white suit for the Summer League tournament because he was wearing all black with the quarter zip zipped like all the way up like a turtleneck. I'm like, that would just be absolutely perfect for him. But
yeah, I
don't know, but white shoes at the very least. I don't know.
White shoes at the very least.
Okay.
I think that's fair. Yeah,
I think
go white on white on that.
That's not too difficult to pull off.
We can figure it out.
Yeah, so obviously a big one on Wednesday and then a big one on Saturday against Belmont, which is homecoming, which will be a great game. Obviously Belmont, a really, really good program that's won 20 games for the last 15 or so seasons in a row, which is remarkable too. Before we get you out of here, just your early assessment of them. Obviously, you got to focus on Tulsa first, but we won't talk until after that Belmont game. So what sticks out to you about the Bruins?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I haven't gotten into them. We're really locked into Tulsa. I've faced Belmont many times. Unfortunately, they got us in Pauley Pavilion my last year at UCLA on a backdoor cut, and Rick Bird did an unbelievable job. And now they have a really, really good basketball coach who does a great job and has built a big-time program. And I know Oral Roberts had a battle up there last year, so we're looking forward to getting them in on Saturday. And that these two games should be a really, really fun environment. And this is what we build towards. This is what we wish. Our guys are really excited to get into Maybe and get that place rocking. So we need to fill it up for sure.
Any message to the people that will be attending said games? What kind of noise you need from them?
Oh, I need that bad boy to be loud. Like you're gonna see a team that is unbelievably passionate, loves to fight every single possession, and I think that crowd, as much as possible, we'd love for you to be as connected to us as you can by bringing that energy every night and make it the loudest arena in Oklahoma like it has been in the past.
Well, a couple of big games for the men's program coming up this week, and be there, be loud, and wear white on Wednesday night.
Wear white
as the Mayor's Cup is on the line. Well, Coach, thanks so much for the time as always.
Yeah.
And, we will talk to you again on Wednesday.
I'll let it be upgraded here. Now tune in, Sophie.
Yes, Sophie Anderson coming your way next year on the Basketball Coach Show here at Waldo's Chicken at 71st and Yale. We'll be back after this on the ORU Sports Network.
Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa has hundreds of 2025 Ram trucks that must be eliminated to make room for the 2026 models. They all must go. Patriot will discount 2025 Ram 1500s in stock up to $18,000. Plus, get 3.9% APR for 72 months. Ram 2500 heavy duties come with $17,000 in savings. Get to Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa, 46th and Memorial. Stock number 250143, MSRP 78404. Stock number 250676, MSRP 7535. Dealer retains all rebates.
When it comes to family dinner, Waldo's Chicken makes everyone happy. Kids love the hand-breaded tenders and creamy mac and cheese. Parents love the deal. Every Tuesday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult entry. Whether you are craving sandwich, wings, or fresh salad, Waldo's has something for everyone. With 3 Tulsa area locations open 7 days a week, plus catering for any event, Waldo's Chicken serves up flavor and smiles. Waldo's, where family favorites are made fresh every day.
At Bill Knight Ford, we're proud to bring you the power of 4 with Bill Knight Ford of Tulsa, Stillwater, Bartlesville, and now our all-new location in Veneta. You have access to a wider selection of vehicles, more service options, and a dedicated team.
Get the 2025 F-150 Super Crew for just $48,990 or the 2025 Explorer for just $43,660, both with 3.9% financing.
Visit any of our 4 locations to experience the power of 4 for yourself or shop BillKnightAuto.com today.
WAC from Ford Credit.
Basketball season is here, so let racers make sure you're on the ball for entertaining. Make it easy with our ready-to-grill items, like our jalapeno poppers and kebabs. We have fan favorites, like our sandwich trays from the deli, or team-themed cakes and cupcakes in the bakery. Reese's, the official grocery store of the ORU Golden Eagles.
At Grubbs Acura of Tulsa, we don't just sell cars, we stand behind them. That's why we offer a lifetime warranty on every new Acura and select pre-owned vehicles. Drive with confidence, knowing your investment is protected for the long haul. Stop by Grubbs Acura of Tulsa today. Luxury you can trust, backed for life.
Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa has hundreds of 2025 Ram trucks that must be eliminated to make room for the 2026 models. They all must go. Patriot will discount 2025 Ram 1500s in stock up to $18,000. Plus, get 3.9% APR for 72 months. Ram 2500 heavy duties come with $17,000 in savings. Get to Patriot Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Tulsa, 46th and Memorial. Stock number 250143, MSRP 78404. Stock number 250676, MSRP 7535. Dealer retains all rebates.
This is the ORU Basketball Coaches Show, powered by Playfly. Hear from head coaches Kory Barnett and Sophie Anderson every week to get an inside scoop and perspective of Golden Eagle hoops. Now, here's your host, the voice of the Golden Eagles, Connor Clark.
Welcome back here to Waldo's Chicken on 71st and Yale, episode 2 of the ORU Basketball Coach Show, coming your way here on the ORU Sports Network. We're here until 1:30, so come out and get some lunch and enjoy some basketball talk here on the corner of 71st and Yale. As I said in the first hour, the Loaded Mac, I highly recommend it. That is by far my favorite thing here. So come out and support both coaches. So we're here with the women's head coach, Sophie Anderson, and Coach, obviously, thanks so much for the time as always. Love talking to you, and we're here to talk some more hoops. And you guys have a trio of games under your belt now, and it started off last Monday at home. That's why we didn't have the coach show last week, because we were busy playing basketball in front of about 6,000 screaming kids on Monday.
Very fun game.
It was a fun game, and obviously the kids were into it from start to finish. And just going back to that game, what was it like just getting your team on the court for the first time in a real game scenario? Obviously, you guys played a couple of exhibitions, but get them out in front of 6,000 people, which is something that is pretty crazy for a first game, and just getting them more comfortable out there in a game-like setting.
I mean, exactly what you said. We want to give these young ladies as much experience as possible and getting them on the floor. But how exciting to play in front of 6,000 people. And I'm just trying to give them a vision as well of what we're striving for. We want our fans and our stands to be packed with, 6,000 little kids or 6,000 fans, and I think that's important of, our vision and growth of where we want our program to go and how we want the attendance to be. But how fun is that? It was loud, ear piercing, and just fun all the way around. So excited to be on the court and, get the first one under our belt.
It's one of the few games where I actually think about it before that I'm like, man, I'm lucky I get to wear a headset.
Yeah.
Because that was big time. It came in clutch for sure.
Absolutely.
But last Monday, you guys took care of Friends 97-65, and that was fueled by a pretty massive third quarter. I know we talked about that after the game for a couple of minutes. 32 points in 10 minutes after what you deemed was kind of a slower offensive start, because you guys scored 15 in that first quarter. I mean, what was the switch that flipped in that one, and you guys looked pretty much flawless on the offensive end?
Well, our whole thing is we're trying to be the best version of us. That's been our focus. All 3 games so far is just be the best version of us. We have a lot of young people, young meaning freshmen, but also young meaning experience and exposure on the court. So we're just trying to hone in and just trying to be the best version of us on both ends on the floor, execution, just flow. But I think we went into the locker room and we just said, we're done. We're ready to turn it up and turn the heat up. But I think that once they all lock in and kind of get on the same page and kind of just shake the nerves just a little bit, they go out and they're really, really great players on both ends of the floor.
Maya Holton had a phenomenal college debut, 26 and 11. I mean, it's hard to replicate that on any night in any game, but she was dominant from the get-go, especially on the offensive side and on the glass as well. And as a true freshman, I don't care who you play in your first game. I mean, that's always something that's kind of a tough hurdle to get over, and she made it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, she's extremely talented. She's long, she's athletic. She's almost a mismatched player just because she can face up and get to the rim a little bit, but then she can score on the inside as well. But I think the fun fact about Amaya is she's only been playing 4 years. of basketball period in
Wow.
life, you
I
know.
didn't even know
So
that.
yeah, so it's exciting to see her grow and develop each game. And you know, going from high school to college, there's just a lot of things that you have to learn. The game is a faster, is more physical, but just you know, the game planning is different and the adjustment. Just being away from mom and dad, she has a twin
Mhm.
as well, so I mean, it's just a lot of news for her, but I'm excited for her to just get a taste of what getting a double double is in college, and I want her to get used to it.
Well, you guys are masking the fact that she's only been playing for 4 years pretty well, I would say, here in the early going. When in the recruiting process, now building off of that, I mean, when
Yeah.
she came across your desk, that name, and you got to dive deeper into her game, I mean, what really stuck out to you? Obviously, you mentioned her length and athleticism, even playing kind of in a block position, but what was it about her? And did you even really think about I guess, for lack of a better term, lack of experience that she had, or did her play just do the talking from the get-go?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that she could come in just from what Ruthie has done in this league,
Mhm.
you know, just an undersized post, that athleticism as well, her rebounding. We knew there would be some growing pains, but that's every freshman.
Right,
But
of course.
so we knew that. But what stuck out to me the most is like who she was as a human being. She's extremely loyal. She's just a good person inside and out from a good family. So, I mean, I think that's what stuck out the most. We knew that she would fit into what we were doing here culture wise, but fit in at our university as well.
Mhm.
And that's important too. So we knew the excitement for her on the court. We knew that, I mean, she was physically able to, you know, produce for us. But man, just to find a high character person, that's even more important.
And she followed that up with an 11-9 performance against Haskell
Yeah.
a few days later. And then we saw, I think I said on the broadcast too, quote unquote, vintage Jaylee Oglesby. She had 23 points and 8 rebounds to go
Yeah.
along with an assist as well. She had 24 points for you guys last night as well. And what's it like? You know, obviously we've talked about her at length. She's a leader. She's been in college for a long time. She plays the game with ultimate confidence. And it's nice seeing her, you know, find that groove this early on in the year
Right.
on the offensive side of the ball.
What I love about Jaylee is she's extremely consistent, you know, and she's been that way for 3 years now. She just does what she does. She gets to her spots and she's able to find a way to get her shot off. And she's a true definition of a scorer, you know, and she knows what she needs to do to get to her spot to get her shot off. But to be able to do that at her size, it's just unbelievable. And to be able to do that at the D2 level and then come to the Division I level and continue to do that year after year. And then hopefully she'll continue that on this year. So I'm excited about her, but man, just so consistent, so just solid. And I mean, I'm excited, like I say always, that she stayed and she's a huge part of this team.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a better word would just call her professional too.
I mean,
like,
she is
yeah, like
in every sense of the word.
I mean,
Yeah.
she carries herself well, obviously on and off the court, and then again, that consistency. It's hard to find that, I guess, in college athletics, especially, you know, at a mid-major level too. When you know people are coming and going every single season, you
Right.
find that constant. That could really be a huge anchor for your squad as well.
I mean, I think, Connor, in life, I think it's hard to find a constant. I mean, people are always looking in the professional world for someone just to show up every day.
Right.
You know, people aren't just showing up to work every single day and just willing to work with a good attitude. And I mean, I can honestly say that this team, they do that every single day. They show up every single day with a good attitude and a heart to work and learn and get better.
Yeah, it's a big reason as to why you guys have had success early on in this season is just because of Jaylee and obviously of other names as well. Maya Holton, obviously, Gentry Baldwin had a nice game against Haskell as well. She was in double figures for the first time, and that one a couple of days ago. You guys played Oklahoma State yesterday, and obviously I know it didn't go the way you guys were envisioning it. Oklahoma State is a really, really good team. And
yeah, they're solid.
Jaylee had a great game. Anna Trusty had a great game with 14 points. She was 5 of 5 for the free throw line, was shooting 40% from the field, and she's kind of morphing into another offensive weapon. I know she's gotten involved a lot in the first 2 games, and obviously more so in a bigger capacity yesterday.
Right, exactly. I mean, first off, hats off to Oklahoma State. Man, what a great program, great organization, great players all the way around, staff. So rooting for them. Everyone we play, we're just rooting for them and hope they do well and have a great season. So we're battle tested. I mean, we got a hard November coming up, but what I loved about our team, obviously after the first quarter, our second quarter, our third quarter, and our fourth quarter, we were able to show up and able to battle. But I told them out the gate, they're going to punch. they're going to swing. And I said all I wanted them to do was compete and fight. And I think it took a little bit, but I mean, they're solid. Now they're 19 in the nation, so they're not that for no reason.
Right,
You
of
know,
course.
so I'm just excited that we got that experience. Everyone can't say that they played a top 25 team. That's just going to help us. You know, we won't see that night in, night out when we get into the Summit League, but their toughness, their quickness are things that we needed early on so that we can grow and get better.
You mentioned, the opening day game against Friends as a learning experience with the 6,000 people in the stands.
Yeah.
And you kind of bump that up a notch too with the quality of opponent, and then just even down to the most basic things. You're playing in a huge arena. They got a lot of people there. I mean, it's super athletic on the other side too. You mentioned they're going to punch right out the gate, and all you guys need to do is compete. I mean, what are some of the more valuable lessons that your team can take away from a game like that and apply it moving forward? Because I mean, yeah, it was a loss of the scoreboard, but there are a lot of things I think you could grab moving forward and help you guys improve.
I mean, toughness and having a great start is really important, but most importantly, not forgetting who we are, sticking to the game plan and making sure that we execute, because when you stick to the game plan and then from there you see if something doesn't work, or if it does work, you can pivot and make adjustments. But I just think that when we got punched in the mouth, we kind of lost who we were for a second, and we kind of stumbled back and got caught in the corner of the ring, and, we just took it. So I think growth is definitely going to happen, getting a little tougher on the inside, rebounds, being quicker, pace is going to be important, getting back, but communication, that's going to be huge. Like, you have to communicate, over communicate, and that's what we try to express before the game. Like, over communicating is going to be huge because they are bigger, faster, stronger, so we have to be locked in and being able to help the help. So there's a lot of areas of growth that we can happen, but I mean, experience is the best teacher. So just getting on the floor. But what I love is after the first quarter, we got back up. We got back up and we were fighting. It was a 20-27, I believe, that in the second quarter. And then from there, we just saw growth, and at least we were swinging. And that's all I wanted, just to swing.
And I mean, obviously you can take so many physical lessons away from it. How mental was yesterday's game, especially, after Oklahoma State did come out and they were off to a hot start? I mean, what was that mental approach following that?
I mean, I just, like, what are you going to do? What's your answer back? And being a champion, you do have to get knocked down sometimes before you realize, like, oh, shoot, okay, I got to get better, whether that means I need to continue to work on my game, or whether that means I got to make an adjustment here. So that direct attack that I used to can make in versus Haskell or Friends, now I'm going to have to take the bump and then push a little bit more, just because they are a little bit physical. But what I did love, the refs, they didn't, call it on one side of the floor. They just let us play.
Right.
And so I think mentally just coming in like, hey, we can do this. They put their shoes on just like we put our shoes on. It's the same length of the floor. It's the same ball. It's the same two rims. Like, you just have to have that approach of being a winner and being a champion. And I told them, you have to come to the game. You have to have a little swag. You have to play with a little chip. And I think that's where we need to learn, like, stepping on the floor and walking into the game with the chip and owning it is half the battle.
Right. Of course. And you guys have another tough opponent coming up on Thursday, which is Lindenwood. And you said it before we got on here. They played Baylor, who's ranked number 16th, pretty well on the road. They ended up losing 76-63. But your overall thoughts on this Lindenwood team as you guys dive into the scout and get ready for your next contest?
Great team, great program. They're ranked number 1 in their conference. They've been together for a little while. So, I mean, 2 and 3 years they've played together. So, they're seasoned. They're clicking well. They are physical. They run their stuff. They run their sets, and they're fighters as well. I think they were down 15 versus Baylor, and they came back out and they cut it to 5. So it's not going to be a gimme game. If you're going to go on the road, you got to go and take it. So excited for a good challenge. They're not the team they were last year, and we're not the team we were last year.
Right.
So you have to go out, and you're going to have to go out and play and take it. It's a road game. They're not going to give it to you. Yeah.
And Ellie Brueggemann is the one leading them in scoring with 19 a game right now, and shooting really well from the field, 55%, 44% from 3, and go about. Obviously, she's going to be one of the top names on that scouting report. And just kind of, again, from an early on standpoint, how do you go about attacking her, especially defensively?
I mean, Ellie's tough. She's been good since she was in high school. I mean, our main thing is we got to contest every shot and know where she is on the floor. If she gets open, she's going to knock down a shot. That's just what she does. But she's a 3-level scorer. She can get to the rim. So being able, one, to contest the shot, but then obviously being able to guard her off the bounce as well. But she's a solid player. She's a winner. She played at Lincoln Christian, and that's what she knows. She knows winning. So, I mean, it's going to take all of us. It's going to be a collective effort. Ellie is a stud, and she knows how to win. So we got to do it as a group.
They got 3 other players averaging double figures through 2 games as well, with Alicia Jones, Brooke Cophie, and Gracie Kelsey as well. 12.5, 10, and 10 respectively for those 3. So they share it obviously pretty well just based off of that. And again, a kind of a well-balanced offense. But you guys also bring a well-balanced offense attack as well. It could be, Amaya Holton doing it one night. It could be obviously Jaylee doing it one night. It could be Gentry doing it one night. So how does that give you guys confidence heading into this matchup against Lindenwood, saying like, hey, okay, they've got a decent amount of scores, but we can also share and have a different person attack each and every single time out?
I mean, like you said, we have to share the basketball. We have to play as a unit, and we have to take what the defense is giving us and what we're doing each game, and honestly, each practice, growing each game and seeing the open person. You have to be selfless when it comes to this offense, and you got to be able, if you're going to draw 2, you got to be prepared to kick it and then trust and believe that they're going to knock it down. But then on the defensive end as well, hey, listen, I got my defensive assignment and I'm going to make sure that I do my job. But if I get beat, I know that my teammate's there. Then I know my teammate is there helping the help. So, I mean, it's just a trust game on both sides of the floor. So, I mean, I'm thankful that we do have, 3 or 4 people that can get to double digits as well. So, I mean, like I said, it's going to be a collective effort. Everybody's going to have to step up and knock down shots, but then also play defense as a unit. So you got to go on the road and be 10 points better. Nobody's going to give it to you every game. We have to go in and work for it.
How important are takeaways going to be defensively moving forward? Because you guys cost 30 of them against Friends, and you had 11 of them last night against one of the best teams in the country. So what's it like preparing for teams going forward in order to keep causing said turnovers and giving you guys shots in transition?
I mean, like I said, just being active, that's a big thing for us, being getting deflections. We call them money moves, deflections and disrupting people's offense is going to be huge. But 50-50 balls, that's a toughness thing. Who's going to get on the floor, who's going to dive and take ownership of that. That's a momentum changer. So all of that is huge for us. I think Ari has come in and done a really good job of getting hands on the ball and just being active. And I mean, that will allow us to get a transition as well. So I think that's really important. I mean, that's a huge part of our defense too, just being active and disrupting what they want to do.
Money moves. I think that should be something that should be put on a shirt or something like that. Or, some sort of thing for money moves. Yeah. So if you have any ideas, please reach out to us. But that's good. But again, a loaded schedule going forward, and Lindenwood is the tip of the iceberg. And you have a lot of road tests too. And what is it about going on the road just in general with a team? And because I feel like it could just be a really, really good time for the team to mesh even more, because obviously you're traveling, you're staying in the hotels, right. You're focusing on one common goal. I mean, how important, especially too with a new group, is that for you guys, just getting everybody to mesh a little bit more?
I mean, just time together. That's just going to happen. But going on the road, one, it's maturity when it comes to basketball, because you have to prep. You're out of your element, quote unquote. So you have to be mature enough to kind of get into your routine. What is your routine? Finding that. And for a lot of them, they don't have a routine yet. They've never been on the road, Exactly. So just finding out what that is. It's just so many unknowns. So just trying to normalize it and do as many things as we can to help them get prepared for that. But off the court, I think just being away from the basketball, eating together, just being in the hotel together, being in the rooms, on the bus, that's where you glue and you do bond, especially with young ladies. They want to, hey, what's going on here? Can you braid my hair? Can you do this? Things like that. Just finding out about each other than the basketball court. So, yeah, and then that translates and moves on to the court. But maturity is going to be huge. You have to be prepared to step off of a bus and then be prepared to play, like right out the gate. So
I know your approach obviously is more mental being a coach, but developing that routine on the road as a head coach this time around, does anything change for you, or is it still kind of business as usual from years prior?
I mean, I would say business as usual. It changes for me moving from assistant to head, meaning, I'm not on the court in
Right.
pregame and getting the feel of the environment, watching warm-ups. And that's a little bit different because I
Mhm.
could get a feel of, oh man, so-and-so's not on the court, or they're warming up, they're locked in, or whatever the vibe is,
Right.
But I mean, you kind of come out a little bit blind, like, okay, how do our girls look during warm-up? Because normally I'm like, okay, we're bobbling the ball, or we're locked in today, coach. Yeah, I can feel it, but I don't know what that is. So we're just hoping when they come into the locker room, you can look at them and say, hey, but you know what, with this young team, we're still trying to create and find out what our identity is. Who is our leader? Who's the one talking? And Jaylee does lead us on the court, but she doesn't lead us vocally, And so who is that person? Who's the person when times get tough, like Oklahoma State first quarter, who was going to step up and who was going to
Right.
talk? So, but for me now, I mean, it's our staff. It's us that are having to do that for them just because they're still trying to learn and figure out what that is.
Now, you guys now have a couple of games under your belt as a coaching staff, and we kind of went down this rabbit hole with Coach Barnett as well. But you've had many games with a lot of people on your coaching staff, so that's the unique thing. But through 3 games now as the head coach of this staff, what's it like been kind of meshing together with them, and obviously including Paris into the group this year, being the one new face? What's it like having him around and just going forward and being one cohesive unit?
I think for us, it's been kind of seamless just because we're not new to ORU.
Right.
So we just kind of move forward. Paris has been great. So just having him a part of the staff, he's come from, some really good environments. So just him a part of the staff, he just kind of jumped right in and got it rolling. He was here during camp. So I think that helped just a little bit where there's not as much basketball pressure, early on. We were just, kind of having fun in the summer. So honestly, it's just been seamless. Now it's just been, how can we get these young ladies ready for the season, just because we have so many new ones. So I think we've been locked in the transition of knowing ORU and who to talk to. We didn't have to deal with all of that. So it's been seamless. I mean, I would have to admit, I'm so happy that all of them stayed and we're here together and we're going on a new journey.
Now, having Coach Annan as your associate head coach and being kind of your right-hand man, a guy who's been in the business for a long, long time, knows a ton about basketball. And what's it like having him just kind of be your kind of go-to mind to be like, hey, what should we do in this situation? What do you think here? What do you see there? Again, bringing 20-plus years of basketball experience to every answer that he has.
Yeah, I mean, I'm close to 40 years of
Right,
experience, so that's priceless, especially for, I mean, I'm going to still call myself a young coach, but it's been nice because he's seen basketball at a very high level in high school, and then being in the Power Four as well, he's seen basketball. But not only does he help me on the court, he helps with the adjustment of what a program should look like. What are some new ideas? But Annan and I do a lot of talking and in prepping for games and making adjustments. And so I'm just beyond grateful to have his basketball mind and just his wisdom a part of our staff. I mean, same thing even with Anderson. He's being a part of our staff. He has 20 plus years of experience too. So in being on the men's side, so they've seen basketball at a different level. And then Coach Pretty playing in this offense. Yeah. So she's able, and then playing at a high level. I mean, being a champion is, that's priceless. So everybody brings something different and something new to the program. So beyond grateful for Coach Annan's wisdom and what he does on and off the floor for myself, making sure that we're prepared and just giving me a different view of what basketball looks like beyond dribble drive, because we don't see a lot of screens in our offense. So just prepping for that, I mean, it's huge.
And you kind of touched on it too. I was going to mention Coach Pretty as well, as somebody who played in the system, and her ability to be able to relate to the players, I feel like can go a long way, not only, playing in the system, but just kind of personality wise too. And kind of, being that right-hand man to the roster of being like, hey, I've been there.
Yeah,
like I've been in this situation. I know how to win in this situation too. What kind of wisdom is she able to kind of give to your team? And again, at times of adversity, she's been there.
Right, exactly. Like she knows, and then she knows me as a coach as well. Obviously not as a head coach, but she knows what type of person I am to help them with that transition as well. But she's another female, and I think they love to be able to go talk to another woman at times,
For sure.
Someone to help, with whatever female problems they have, or just being nice to hear just a different voice. She is, just someone that has been in important games within this offense, and she's played in championship games. She's played in championships, so she knows what it takes. And just having that winning mentality, she has been able to talk to them from that standpoint of just go get it done. Just believe in the system. It works. I've been there, trust me. And then being able to go watch some of her film. Some of them love going back to watch, her play
sure.
in her golden days. But she was a baller, like she really was. She is a Hall of Famer, and she just knows this offense in and out. But I mean, I'm grateful to have her along the ride as well. So she just brings a lot of wisdom for them, just in life as well.
So whose idea was the matching shoes on the sideline? Yours?
Yes.
Okay, well, first of all, it's a great idea.
Oh, you liked
they
it?
look good.
Okay, all right.
And second of all, how well do you think that they would go with? And Coach Ann and I made a deal.
Here you go.
Before Haskell, we made a deal. I don't know if he's going to stick to it. Probably not. He has to wear all white suit at the Summit League tournament.
Oh, he will not stick to that. No
Patino style.
No way.
I told him, I'm like, hey, because I told Barnett earlier. I mean, he's wearing the all black. And he's got the quarter zipped up all the way like he's wearing a turtleneck in pure Bill Annan fashion. And I said, hey, well, how do you feel about the Patino white suit? He's like, I don't know. And then Wayne started kind of taking my side because we were, kind of bullying him into it.
Exactly.
But I'm like, hey,
I got to bring this up.
You do.
Oh, man.
I'll after this coach's show is over, I'll immediately go to start researching suit tailors and suit balls.
Yeah, let's do it.
And we can get it done.
I love that.
That would be hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, again, a big game coming up for you guys against Lindenwood on Thursday. The Mayor's Cup looming on Monday as well, which is always a fun game.
Exciting.
It's very exciting. I mean, and you guys are trying to keep the trophy at 81st and Lewis as well, and that's a game where you're playing for A, hardware, B, bragging rights, and C, for pride as well in the city. I mean, kind of throw all those into one game, especially so early in the season too. It kind of wakes everybody up and gets people excited.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're here for. We're here to compete. And November is going to test that. We're going to test and find out who we're made of. But this is only going to prepare us for the Summit League. January 1st is when we need to be rocking and rolling, and we have to get thrown into the fire, and we have to grow up fast. And like you said, this will only get us battle tested, which I'm excited about. Let's go play. Let's go play some of the best, and we're going to do that in about a couple of weeks span. So we'll be thankful for Thanksgiving by the time it gets here. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you guys will be eating good on Thanksgiving, that's
or
for
sleeping,
sure.
recovering.
I think both squads will probably pick the latter, probably sleeping on Thanksgiving. Maybe watch like a half of football and then go back to bed.
Exactly.
Whether it's because you're tired or it's because of the stuffing, who knows? But again, and you guys, going through the gauntlet of November too, and we'll wrap things up here in a couple minutes. But you guys jump into Summit League play, and it's also kind of the gauntlet because you got NDSU staring you right in the face on New Year's Day, and they're picked second in the league.
They're solid.
Depending on who you ask, they put X amount of stock into the preseason polls, but still, I mean, they were a really successful program last year, and hey, you guys get to face off against them right away, and that's can only be beneficial, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, and he's a winner. He's been winning at the D2 level, and he continued that on here. So, I mean, honestly, I say this all the time: South Dakota State and North Dakota State, my hat goes off to them. I mean, really good coaches, really good men, and all of them. I mean, our whole conference is solid. I don't know a few of the other coaches as well, but we have some really good coaches in this conference. So excited to start this thing off right. But hey, it's just like November. We started it off. I mean, right out the gate, we're hitting Oklahoma State, and we're going to be rolling from there. So, I mean, we'll be able to say by January, hey, we've been here before.
Right.
And we can't say that right now.
Exactly.
So, but by January, hopefully we have grown and we've gotten better, but the only way to do it is to do it, so we got to experience it. We got to get out there. We got to get beat up, but I'm telling you, we just keep standing back up, and that's all you can ask for a coach. Keep standing up, but now you got to get your hands up and start swinging.
Right. I think the sentence "we've been here before" may be one of the more valuable ones that can be uttered in a timeout huddle during conference play. And you guys are going to have that in a multitude of instances as well. But
absolutely.
Coach, thanks so much for the time as always.
No problem.
Of course, good luck on Thursday.
Thank
It'll be fun to watch, and you guys keep improving as well. So that'll be a big week coming up for both programs. Obviously, the men with 2 home games, and then you guys with the Mayor's Cup next Monday. So we'll be a fun couple of weeks of non-con basketball.
Coach KB and I will be calling and texting each other and getting us through. That's my guy.
It'll be great. So again, thanks so much for the time, and we will talk to you again next Monday.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, that's head coach of the women's basketball program, Sophie Anderson. My name is Connor Clark, and that'll do it for episode number 2 of the ORU Basketball Coach Show here at Waldo's Chicken. Big thanks to them here at 71st, and Yale will be back next Monday at 11 a.m., so come check us out from 11 to noon, and we'll be talking to both head coaches again. So once again, a big thanks to Waldo's. A big thanks to all of you for tuning in and making us a part of your Monday afternoon, and a big week for both basketball programs continues. So that'll do it. Episode 2 of the ORU Coaches Show here on the ORU Sports Network. We'll talk to you next week.